What would happen if the simmering tension between Israel and Iran escalated into a full-blown conflict? This question, though unsettling, is one that has captured the attention of many. The relations between these two nations are complex, steeped in history, and fraught with geopolitical implications. We're about to delve into this issue, exploring the possible timeline of events that could unfold if this tension were to erupt into an all-out war. So buckle up for a thought-provoking journey. Stay tuned as we unravel the potential sequence of events. Imagine a scenario where an unexpected incident triggers the conflict. Let's delve into the realm of the possible and explore the sparks that could ignite this geopolitical powder keg. First, consider a major terrorist attack. A sophisticated, coordinated strike on vital infrastructure could push an already tense situation over the edge. The shockwaves of such an event would reverberate far beyond the immediate area of impact, potentially leading to a rapid escalation of hostilities. Next, think about a significant military offensive. An aggressive move, perhaps under the guise of a preemptive strike, could set the wheels of war in motion. The fallout from such an action would be unpredictable and the potential for widespread conflict immense. Finally, don't discount the possibility of an accidental clash. A misinterpreted signal, a stray missile, or an unintended incursion could all serve as the spark for a larger conflict. The spark has ignited, the conflict has begun. In the aftermath of the trigger, the conflict escalates rapidly. As the sparks of conflict fly, they soon ignite a full-blown inferno. The rapidly escalating situation sees both Israel and Iran employing a variety of military strategies. Israel, with its technologically advanced armed forces and the Iron Dome missile defense system, would likely focus on aerial and missile attacks, while Iran, given its geographical advantage and substantial ground forces, could attempt to draw Israel into a ground conflict. The alliances formed on both sides would also play a crucial role in the escalation. Countries like the United States and many Western nations, being traditional allies of Israel, may offer tactical support and resources. Meanwhile, Iran could potentially garner support from its neighbors and allies in the region, including groups like Hezbollah and nations like Syria. But it's the role of nuclear capabilities that's the most alarming. Israel is widely believed to possess nuclear weapons, although it maintains a policy of ambiguity, neither confirming nor denying its arsenal. Iran, on the other hand, has consistently denied developing nuclear weapons, but its nuclear program has been a subject of international concern and speculation. The potential for nuclear involvement in the conflict escalates the stakes dramatically. A nuclear strike from either side would not only cause immediate and catastrophic damage, but it would also pull the whole world into a nuclear crisis. The international community, therefore, would be forced to intervene not just to prevent a humanitarian disaster, but also to forestall a global catastrophe. This escalation could also trigger a domino effect, causing other conflicts to erupt around the globe. Regional rivalries could be reignited and new alliances could be formed, changing the geopolitical landscape considerably. The world would find itself in a precarious state, walking a thin line between war and peace. In this high-stakes chess game, every move matters. Every decision could mean the difference between resolution and devastation. The choices made by both sides would shape not just their future, but the future of the entire world. The conflict has now escalated to a point of no return. As the conflict intensifies, the world watches with bated breath. A clash of this magnitude between Israel and Iran would undoubtedly reverberate around the globe. The first and most immediate impact would be economic. While both countries have diversified economies, they are major players in the global oil and gas market. A conflict would likely disrupt these industries, leading to price volatility and potential shortages. This economic shockwave would ripple outwards, affecting everything from the cost of travel to the price of everyday goods. Countries heavily reliant on oil imports, particularly those in Asia and Europe, would feel this impact acutely. The global economy, still recovering from the shocks of the past few years, could be plunged into another recession. But the economic fallout is just one facet of the potential global impact. A conflict of this scale would almost certainly lead to a humanitarian crisis. Thousands, perhaps millions of people could be displaced, leading to one of the largest refugee crises the world has ever seen. Nations worldwide would grapple with the influx of refugees, straining social services and potentially leading to political instability. And then there are the shifts in global power dynamics to consider. A conflict between Israel and Iran would likely draw in other nations either directly or indirectly, reshaping alliances and rivalries. Power vacuums could emerge, and new players might seize the opportunity to assert themselves on the global stage. In the midst of all this, international institutions would be tested like never before. The United Nations, NATO, the European Union, and others would face immense pressure to intervene, mediate, and manage the fallout. Their actions, or lack thereof, could redefine their roles in the international community for years to come. The fallout of a conflict between Israel and Iran would not be confined to the Middle East. It would touch every corner of the globe, testing our resilience, our humanity, and our ability to work together in the face of adversity. The ripples of the conflict are felt far beyond the borders of Israel and Iran. Every war has an end. What could the endgame look like in this conflict? Let's delve into the realm of possibilities. The endgame of a conflict as massive as an Israel-Iran war would be shaped by a multitude of factors, each one as unpredictable as the next. It could culminate in a myriad of ways, each with its own set of repercussions on the global stage. In one scenario, the war might conclude with a ceasefire, leading to peace negotiations. After a long and grueling conflict, both nations may find it in their best interest to lay down their arms and seek a peaceful resolution. Such a peace treaty could potentially involve concessions from both nations, with an aim to restore stability and ensure future cooperation. However, the endgame could also involve territorial changes. The victor could potentially annex key strategic areas from the loser, shifting the balance of power in the region. This could lead to an alteration of borders, and could have far-reaching implications on the geopolitical landscape of the Middle East. Another possible outcome could be a shift in regional power dynamics. The war could weaken one or both of the nations involved, allowing other players in the region to rise to prominence. This could lead to a significant realignment of alliances and influence in the Middle East, altering the status quo and reshaping the political landscape. Moreover, the endgame could also be dictated by the involvement of international bodies or other nations. A third-party intervention could lead to a negotiated settlement, or, in a worst-case scenario, an escalation into a broader conflict. These are just a few of the countless possible outcomes. Each one carries with it a distinct set of consequences and challenges. No matter the endgame, the aftermath of such a conflict would undoubtedly be complex and far-reaching. The endgame, however uncertain, will have lasting implications. In the wake of the conflict, the world is forever changed. The dust may have settled on the battlegrounds, but the echoes of the conflict reverberate through the political, economic, and human landscapes. From the political perspective, the power dynamics have shifted dramatically. The conflict has not only redrawn the alliances and rivalries, but has also reshaped the global perception of power and influence. Countries that were once passive observers have now emerged as key players in the global arena. The world order, as we knew it, has been upended, and a new era of political chess has begun. The economic ramifications are equally profound. The world economy, already reeling from the impacts of the conflict, is trying to find its footing. The conflict has disrupted global trade routes and economies of scale. It's like a domino effect. One nation's problem quickly becomes a global concern. The recovery process is a long and arduous one. It's a time of rebuilding, reinventing, and redefining economic strategies. But beyond the political and economic consequences, the human ramifications are the most heart-wrenching. Lives lost, families torn apart, and communities shattered. The scars of the conflict are etched in the hearts and minds of those who have lived through it. The conflict has left a generation traumatized and a population displaced. Yet amidst the ashes, there is a glimmer of hope. The potential for future peace exists, even if it seems distant. The lessons learned from the conflict can be the building blocks for a more peaceful future, but it requires collective will, courage, and a commitment to dialogue over discord. The potential for continued tension, however, cannot be ruled out. Old wounds may heal, but the memories of the conflict can reignite old rivalries. The path to peace is fraught with challenges. It's a delicate dance between holding on to the past and moving towards the future. The aftermath of the conflict leaves a lasting legacy on the region and the world. It's a stark reminder of the consequences of conflict and the importance of peace. It's a lesson learned, a history written, and a future yet to be determined. We've ventured into a potential future, one fraught with conflict and uncertainty. We've traced a possible timeline from the initial spark to the global impact, endgame, and aftermath of a hypothetical Israel-Iran conflict. We've seen the ripple effects that such a war could have on the world stage, and the potential for profound and lasting damage. While we can only speculate, it's crucial to understand the potential consequences of such a conflict. It's a reminder of the importance of diplomacy, dialogue, and peace.